So without further ado then, I'll stop waffling on and talking about me, and let's talk about you. So the most important thing, the number one tip, and you may have heard this before, I make no apologies if I am repeating the same information, because sometimes it does need saying several times before it sets in, and more importantly, before perhaps anything is done about it. So the first top tip I would say is your mindset. So Catherine and Beverly were kind enough, even though they were under the weather a few weeks ago, to come along to a meeting that we're actually running just down the road from where they live in Ripponden in West Yorkshire. And that was the number one top tip. So they've heard all this before, but I'm sure they won't mind me repeating myself again. Mindset is key. And with the correct mindset, you're actually 75% the way to the success that you desire. But they say that a bad attitude is pretty much like having a flat tire. Until it's changed, you're not going anywhere. So what do I mean by mindset? What do I mean by attitude? And when I say bad attitude, perhaps actually that is not the correct word, because it's not about bad attitude as in incorrect or wrong. It's not about, you know, being stroppy or obstreperous or anything like that. It's just simply it's not the correct one that you need to succeed. Now, an attitude or a mindset is something that can take some people years, in fact, a lifetime to develop just through natural experiences. But with a purposeful effort, it's something that can be adopted in a very short period of time. For some people, just a matter of days, but certainly no more than weeks or certainly months. So the really fantastic news is that we actually have literally a library of information, and with the internet, with social media, with you know, YouTube, Wikipedia and so on, there's no shortage of information there, absolutely free of charge and available to you on tap, just as and when you can you know, fit it into your busy schedules. So I'm sure you've heard these before, but just to cover some ground, and just in case there's any new starters that have joined us this evening, very welcome, of course, too. The first book I would recommend that you would read, and not only read, but listen to as well, do it in any way you can, absorb the information within this particular book until you absolutely have it down. In fact, what I do with my new starters now is I advise them to listen and read the book just as many times as is necessary, and write out the 7 skills that are described within it and pin them up. Pin them up in the bathroom, pin them up in your bedroom, in the kitchen, on the fridge door, perhaps on the back of the front door, even anywhere and anywhere, in the middle of your steering wheel. Just have the information around you all the time so you can list the 7 skills. And the 7 skills are contained within GoPro, the 7 steps to becoming a network marketing professional. It is such an amazing book. Eric Roy, the author, is absolutely amazing. He's actually coming over to the UK for the first time later on this year, perhaps around November time, I think October time, November it is, yeah. And he himself has built multi-million-dollar network marketing businesses, but more than that even, he's actually traveled the world extensively, certainly around America, but the world at large too. And he's interviewed innumerate different network marketing professionals who've also done the same. So not only has he garnered his own knowledge, skills and expertise along the way, he actually has spoken with, including Amber Voigt, one of the people well on the way to being a millionaire in Younique, as I'm sure you know, interviewed people like that from a number of different opportunities, different backgrounds, different perspectives, and he's brought out the common traits, the common exercises that they have taken part in, the daily routines that they pursue and do. And he's written it down in just a couple of 100 pages in GoPro. So, you know, absolutely not only read and listen to that, but absorb it and make it, you know, a tomb, a Bible, call it what you would. But the quicker you can absorb and apply the information that's within there, just 7 skills to becoming a professional, not very many at all, then the sooner your business will progress. The second I would recommend is Building Your Network Marketing Business by Jim Rohn. Now, again, I'm sure you know, but just for any new starters, that perhaps aren't quite up to speed just yet, then Jim Rohn is actually the godfather of network marketing. He's been around since the 1970s. Sadly, he passed away not all that long ago, just a few years ago, but he was been around from the 1970s. He built amazing businesses, and he actually has trained and mentored more network marketing millionaires, not only in person, but through his books and tapes, audios, and the classes he used to run, interactive sessions, than any other person in the industry. So what he doesn't know is not worth knowing. And Building Your Network Marketing Business by Jim Rohn, I think this generally is a copy available on YouTube if you were to search for that, is a summation of all his knowledge. It's a 1 hour video. It won't take very much time at all, even if you do it 20 minutes a day for 3 days, and go through that information, and that will really sow the seeds for the industry as a whole. So far we've got GoPro, which obviously has the practical skills to ensure that you excel in your business, and then we have Building Your Network Marketing Business by Jim Rohn, which gives you a sort of philosophy, if you will, to the industry and how to approach it and what to expect. And then one final recommendation I'd like to make, if it's all right with you, is The Secret. So it's very popular. It's actually an Australian production, but The Secret is quite different from the other two. Rather than being practical, hands-on, and giving you that information that you can apply straight away, this is actually about the mindset that I was referring to before. So we've got the skills, but we need the mindset. So with the mindset, which is the law of attraction, is discussed in The Secret at some length, and they actually have multiple versions for teens, for women. The general one, they've got a follow-up as well. It's a sort of quite a well-known series, but The Secret is the mainstay nonetheless. And that will, again, really help with how to approach not only a business, but perhaps also help with any personal issues. Help you build better relationships with the people that you already have relationships with, and certainly will help you build better relationships with the new people that you're meeting as you're going along on this exciting journey that we call Younique. Okay, so going green then. Sorry, I was just distracted reading the chat box. I told you I couldn't do two things at once, didn't I? Into Younique, and they start to become familiar with the Younique compensation or pay plan, then it becomes pretty apparent pretty quickly that the serious money, the recognition, and the reason obviously it's called elite status is for a reason, is at the green elite level. Now that isn't to say that it's yellow, pink, blue, and fast start and white as well, of course, that isn't a sense, something to have a sense of achievement about. It absolutely is. And one proviso I would say before I go any further is that we're certainly not expecting, anticipating, almost certainly pressuring anyone into achieving green elite status, should that not be what they want. All the advice and guidance I'm sort of going to discuss moving forward is in relation to people that do want to go for green. They do want a full-time income, albeit from a part-time business, and they do want to get serious and to help a lot of other people along the way. And that's really a very important point. Excuse me. So most people say, well, you know what, if I can just get a few people under my belt, I can just get my points, and I'm aiming for fast start and all that kind of thing. Well, of course, that's absolutely fantastic, and that's no different than anyone else in the opportunity, whether it's Alba Voigt, who, bearing in mind, less than 18 months ago was a blue exemplary status presenter herself, a £4,000 turnover less than 18 months ago, and now turns over about $3 million a month. Earns about $75,000 in a month, and she's done that in 18 months. Now that's the kind of progression that we can be making. But where do we begin? Well, the fantastic thing is that Fast Start is there for a reason, and the requirements for it are what they are for a reason, and that's because this is exactly how we build the business. The business never gets any more complicated than promoting products as well as the opportunity to our friends and family, and then on to their friends and family beyond that, of course, expanding a circle as we go, but only ever 3 at a time. So I don't know if you'd be surprised to know or not, but the average size growing business right across Younique internationally is between 13 and 30 presenters. So perhaps not as many as you might think. So where do we get these 13 to 30 presenters then? How do we help people get started and that kind of thing? Well, we're going to discuss that a little bit more later, but let me just introduce a little tweak. As I said, sometimes it's the smallest or simplest things that can actually make the largest difference. So if we imagine we have a new starter, that might be yourself, it might be yourself a few months ago, right in this situation now, or it could be you tomorrow, no matter how you've been in the business, because we all wake up and can start again at any time we choose. And we would write a contact list of 100 people. We would immediately contact all our best friends and family and say how amazing it would be for them, but all with a view to not only introducing 3 people to the opportunity in terms of securing our fast start bonus, getting that Y cash, building our kit, treating ourselves, our friends or our family onto some free products. But at the same time, as we're introducing those 3 people, we would immediately ask them about the 3 people that they might like to introduce. And in doing so, by introducing just 3 ourselves, but asking those 3 where their 3 might come from, then actually, if you add it up, you already have 13 people. So by introducing the 3 people, just achieving your fast start bonus and helping 3 other people to do the same along the way, you would actually have 13 people in your business straight away. So rather than thinking about 13 people, we're actually thinking just about 3, but making sure that those 3 are doing the same and asking people not to do any more or less than we have done ourselves, but asking those 3 where their 3 might come from. And then should you wish to go for a larger business and aim for that 30 to get that large size green business that we all seek and desire, then all we would do is of the 3 that have introduced the 3, we will help those introduce their 3. So going no more than 3 deep, which conveniently is the depth of the pay plan in terms of generations of green elite status and above presenters, we would be helping the people in our business to achieve what they want, which is the key, not what we want, but what they want. And in doing so, would end up with somewhere between, amazingly, 13 and 30 presenters. So already, hopefully, you can see that rather than thinking, well, 30 people, that's great. And if you have a really, big group of friends and you really have a lot of contacts within network marketing or direct sales already, or if you're an experienced party planner or something like that, well, of course, all of those are really great advantages, but actually completely unnecessary to be successful in network marketing, because all you need is 3 friends, and to ask them which of their 3 friends might benefit the most from the opportunity. And in doing so, and this has been done time and time and time again in network marketing as a whole, but most certainly within Younique, you can actually go from a white status to green elite in less than 4 weeks, should you wish. That's not to say there's any necessity to do so. There's never any necessity to do so, ever. But should you wish, it can be done. So should you wake up tomorrow morning, should you wake up on the 1st of June, should you wake up on the 1st of May next year, whenever is right for you is when it's right. But when you do, then all you need to do is find 3 people and help those 3 find their 3. And on it goes. And it never gets more complicated than that. So once you've got your green elite business, then as I've said, you qualified as an elite status presenter. It opens the door to many more opportunities, not least to the retreat in Utah, which is just amazing. But also to new trainings, to priority passes to certain things, added to new groups, included on more conference calls, more support, more guidance. And I don't mean more support than you have now necessarily, but I just mean more support of a different kind to enable you to lead your business to the next generation. But the only thing you really need to do, having shown your 3 how to introduce 3 and perhaps help those 3 introduce theirs, is show one person then how to do the same. So having introduced your 3 who've introduced their 3 and so on, just 3 levels deep, then all you need to do, or all you will find, in fact, whilst you're actually doing that as a byproduct, is that at least one person will say, I would like the same. I would like, you're back, are you, Catherine?
Don't know what happened there. It just went off.
Okay, not to worry. So all you need to do then is find that one leader, that one potential leader, and help them do exactly as you have just done, and that will put you to orange. Help another person to do exactly the same, and that will put you to purple. Help 2 more to do the same, and there you are, your black exclusive status presenter, a really great position that Nadine and I are at the present time. So in a nutshell, really quite simple in terms of the maths. So where might we go about finding these 3 people? Well, as I've already touched upon, a really great tool that's used right across the network marketing industry and has produced really fantastic results with not only our new starters, but across the Younique opportunity as well, is the top 100 contact list. Now, this is actually something that's mentioned within GoPro, you might be unsurprised to know. So there is more detailed information about how you draw that up, sources of inspiration, and how you go about maintaining and moving forward. But in short, it's the top 100 people, not that you want in your business to help you build it, but the top 100 people that you can help the most. The top 100 people that can benefit the most, either from having long, luscious lashes, enjoying the products and so on, from receiving free and discounted products, should I say, by being a party host or having a lash link, and maybe even from earning the extra money. And the thing is that without asking each of those people on the list, you're never going to know. If you never tell anyone you're selling the product, you're never going to sell any. If you never tell anyone about the opportunity, no one's ever going to join. No one's ever going to benefit. No one's ever going to build their own business and set themselves free. So let's get out there and get contacting that 100 people. Now, the fantastic thing is that we only ever work with 100 people. We never turn it into tens of thousands of people on a mail shot and spam and, you know, all that kind of thing. It's only ever working with the 100 people that we wish to help those, the 100 people that can benefit the most from being involved with the opportunity or by having the product shared with them. Now, as we get a definite answer, bearing in mind, even a definite no is not actually a no, it's a no, not now, quite often. But as we're going through that, then as we get the definitive answer, whether they've joined in, bought a product, whatever it might be, they've had the information, and you might go and visit them again in 6 months' time. Well, we then cross them off the list, and the great news is that by then another person has come along, another person we've thought about, another person we bumped into down the local pub, or someone's been chatting on Facebook, whatever it might be, and we add them onto the bottom. So of course, sometimes your list is going to be 98 people. Of course, sometimes it's going to be 102. But as long as we're in the region of working with that 100 people, constantly throughout our network marketing career, constantly thinking about who we've not spoken to in a while, constantly getting those surprise phone calls, which are really great once you've been going 3 or 4 months. And as long as you've put the effort into contacting the people in the first place after that first 3 or 4 months, you certainly will have people contacting you to say, the time wasn't right for me then because of reason X, Y, and Z. However, it is now, and how do I get started? And of course, that's really great. Only occurs should you put the effort in when you first get going. So how do we generate sales and bookings then? Well, again, with the secret and nice, very simply searching attraction marketing on YouTube too. There is a whole host of information. I'm sure that Catherine and Bev will be absolutely delighted to help you out with further information, tagging you in posts and sharing their favorites and other references too. But by using the attraction marketing method, and this is what I do really genuinely love about the Younique opportunity, is that we actually, or certainly we, Nadine and I, don't approach anyone about the opportunity. We have our top 100 that we're working proactively, and they're absolutely fine, because why wouldn't we want the people to know about it and know about it sooner rather than later? But in terms of cold market, as the industry term goes, in terms of making new contacts and meeting new people along the way, getting new party hostesses. It's all done by them contacting us. And isn't that amazing? So we're not stopping and harassing people in the street like some catalogue firms do. We're not going door to door or anything as harsh or painful as that. We're not out in the rain. We're actually tucked up nicely with a cup of tea or a glass of wine on the sofa. A business that still be worked even if you're feeling really poorly and under the weather, just like Bev and Catherine a little bit is too. And we can really crack on irrespective. So the way that we do that, as I said, is through attraction marketing. So again, I'm not going to cover that in any great detail tonight because I fear that I'm overrunning a little already as it is. But nonetheless, that really certainly is the answer. So one final thing I'd like to talk about before I hand back over to Catherine and Bev is, if I can just find it in my notes here, I'm flicking through frantically, is about virtual parties. So again, there's a number of ways we can attract people to host parties, but really if the offer is that they can have free and discounted products and they already love the product either because they've seen it on their friend, they've bought it for themselves, or they're waiting to try it out and they know they're just going to love it, especially with the love it's guarantee being there should they not, then why not invite them to have the same but for free or discounted even by tagging a few of their friends in. Now, I know that some of you perhaps have tried this already and hopefully you've had great success, but it may be that some of you on some occasions perhaps haven't got on quite as well as you wanted. I have to say, obviously, having an exposure to over 2,500 people in the business as I do on a daily, weekly and monthly basis, there are certainly so many more success stories than you might ever think there would be. Certainly more than some of the unfortunate ones that haven't worked out. And just like anything else with trial and error, the more that you practice, the better you will get, the easier the result will become and the less effort you'll have to put in. But the effort nonetheless has to be put in the first place. Just like riding a bike, if you fall off the first time and scratch your arm, that isn't to say that when you get on the next time you're going to do that, and eventually you are really riding your bike through the park and enjoying yourself, as we all have done at least at some point in our life. So a couple of tips that I would like to say, to share with you tonight, hopefully these are going to be the little tips that are going to make the largest difference, is first and foremost about hostess coaching. So the importance and value of hostess coaching cannot be underestimated at all enough. So what I mean by that is not only obviously getting a hostess on board by sharing the benefits of how they're going to get the free and discounted products should they meet the qualifying criteria. You can share your party points calculator, which obviously on your Younique back office website, you can share that very easily so they can understand what requirements it is that they need to make. You can also explain to them just how what's expected of them for that, because of course no one gets anything for nothing, but the opportunity cost is very little because all they need to do is invite their friends to a party. Now that's something that we do all the time, whether it's a physical home party, you might wish to try that should you wish, there's no obligation, but it's there as an option should you wish to try it. Or whether it's a virtual party, even less requirement, don't need to push the hoover around or get the cheesy whatsits out or whatever it is you posh ladies have at your shindigs. You don't even have to do any of that. Party in your pajamas with a nice glass of wine or a cup of tea, and off you go. So with the hostess coaching, not only is it important to stress the benefits, but also the requirements of it, but also then to get the hostess on board. So create the party group straight away on your own profile, add the hostess in as an admin, your very first duty. Put your pinned post at the top to explain what it's about and what all the guests expect to achieve or what they'll experience, should I say. And then ask the party hostess straight away to either comment on your post or even better, put a post of her own and say how excited she is to be involved and to be getting started. She's looking forward to receiving the rewards because it's not a hidden element. Of course, we want to promote that for other people to join in as well. and then maybe tag some of her friends in, or certainly get adding them into the group. Now, what I wouldn't advise you to do, perhaps as you're getting going, is to be running a 10-day party. Now, I know that that's the only option that's available on the Younique back office with the party scheduler, which is a great improvement, I have to say, for the most part. But set up your 10-day party, and as you know, you can actually close it at any time you wish. So let's say, for example, you were to set it up on a Friday evening, you're chatting away to a friend on Facebook, the two of you haven't gone out for whatever reason on that particular occasion, you're chatting on, it's like, okay, Kirsty or whomever it might be, let's get this party set up, let's get you some rewards, and then we'll actually run the party on Monday night. So it's generally better to do it on a Monday to a Thursday evening, although there's no rights or wrongs. It'll be different for different groups of friends. Of course, you can gauge that better for yourself. But just for this example, we'll say they set it up on a Friday. So you would create the group and the post, add the host as an admin, and then start doing the process that I've described so far. So you would then put a couple of posts into the group as people are being added, keeping the group warm so people know what to expect. As anyone's asking any questions, what's this about, or oh, right, what's that, and when does it start, and all that kind of thing, we'll answer all those questions. Add all the hostesses guests as friends, so you can communicate with them directly, of course, and then set the party to run for 1 hour. And 1 hour only at, let's say, 8 o'clock on the Monday night. You would have somewhere between 6 and 12 posts, and that's all, pre-prepared in a Word document or in a note file or whatever device it is you're using, stored away, so that when it comes to the actual activity itself, when it comes to the hour party at the 8 o'clock on a Monday, then all you need to do is cut and post and concentrate, rather than on the content, on the interaction of the guests, making sure that the questions and queries are answered, that people are having fun, and most importantly, making those purchases, or at least be informed to do so in future. So just prior on the Monday evening, having warmed them through on the Saturday and Sunday, especially with the Sunday night blues before everyone's going back to work, well, most everyone, then make sure that perhaps a couple of hours before, say about 6 p.m. on the Monday, you would post about how you're excited to get the party started, how it's going to be really great. You can have lots of fun, interactive quizzes, perhaps a couple of spot prizes if you have some product or other small fripperies perhaps to give away from your YCash or from elsewhere. It doesn't have to be a product necessarily. And how you can't wait to make sure that they tune in at 8 o'clock, pajamas and glass of wine at the ready. And then the same an hour before, the same half an hour before, and the same quarter of an hour before. The reason being, it's a very popular time as well. Between 5 and 10 is a very high traffic time on Facebook, and people can miss 2, 3, or even 4 of your posts. And so if we put those 4 up, 2 hours, an hour, half an hour, and quarter an hour before, then we're sure to capture those people. And not only that, for even the people that do see all 4 of the posts, are in there's no confusion under any illusion that that's when the time that the party starts, and also that's when they should tune into the group, because you don't want people idly sitting on their news feed, perhaps catching some of your posts and perhaps not only because it interrupts the flow of the information that you're putting across, which is unfortunate when it does happen, but also because they're not receiving the full message, which means they're not receiving the full benefit of the information that you're providing with them. So as I've already said, you then get into the party, you welcome everyone along, you do a little fun icebreaker to get the communication flowing, ask them perhaps to tag any other friends in that they might think might be interested in free and discounted makeup, or just interested in beauty tips and so on. Have the post ready and work your way through. So you post one perhaps every 3 to 10 minutes, just depending on how much interactions occurring, how many PMs you've got, how you might have a little group chat running at the side, something like that. You might send them off on a little scavenger hunt to find out information about different shades of lip stain, or something like that, in which case obviously that takes them a few minutes to do that, and ask them to come straight back to the group. You might play a video or several videos, in fact, for one or several of your posts, in which case obviously you've got to give them the viewing time to watch that video for 2 or 3 minutes, certainly not much more than that, I wouldn't have thought. And you'll be surprised actually just how fast that hour goes. And quite often what actually happens is that whilst you've put sufficient content on and generated that interest, that once the hour runs out, that you end up hanging around for an extra half an hour just to mop up those questions and perhaps include a little bit of extra information. So I would say that when you first get started with your party, that it would be sensible, I suppose, as we did during launch, or as you've done since you've got started, it's all about the mascara, and that makes sense. It's the flagship product. It's got an amazing visual effect. It's natural ingredients, and all the other things. Obviously, I don't need to tell you about the benefits of the products. But the theme of the party then would be about the mascara, which of course is very fine, but deliberately so, because what we don't want to do is burn the bridges and have it as a one-time affair. We want to develop a series or a set of really loyal and devoted customers who enjoy being party hostesses and want to come back time and again to receive the rewards and also the prestige of being the party hostess and being in the know with the crazy lash lady. And one of the ways in which we do that is that we have initially this mascara party, but also then follow on, and we might have about a different eye look. We may be talking about a collection and the great results and different effects that we could achieve with that, the multiple uses of one particular type of product. But also we then have to factor in the seasonal change. So people wear, obviously, ladies mainly, wear different makeup in the winter than they would do in the summer to match with the different outfits, the clothing, and also just how they feel, whether they're tanned, they've been out in the sun or on holiday. Obviously, all of that affects the type of makeup that's worn. Not only that, there are new products coming out all the time. There are customer kudos and other incentives that you may wish to run yourself or are run by the company, all of which are great reasons to have a party, even with the same party hostess. So you wouldn't rely on one party hostess alone, but even with as few as a dozen or perhaps 2 dozen party hostesses, and that can actually keep you busy and partying all the year round. So we're building a sustainable business right from the very beginning with one lot of effort, rather than making that sale and then chasing up or following up, should I say, 3 months later to see whether they'd like to replenish that same product and perhaps buy something else. Although, of course, we can do that too. And then one final thing I would say then is that at the end of the party, it is absolutely vital, and I mean this really is the most important bit, is that you then follow up individually with each party guest. So it might be that the party hostess and you, between you, have put 2, 3, 4, 5, or however many hundreds of people into the party group. It certainly doesn't have to be that many. I'm certainly not expecting that many to turn up on the night. Perhaps as few as 14 or even 15 or even 20 party guests is more than sufficient to get the result that's desired. But nonetheless, anyone who has commented, anyone who's tagged someone in, perhaps a spot prize winner, the hostess themselves, of course, anyone who's had any interaction in that 1 hour or perhaps leading up to it too, then follow up with them. If they've commented on a post about mascara, assuming that's the party that you're doing, or particular applications, you might be mixing the pigment on one particular video with the mascara to get a coloured mascara look. If that's what they've commented on, well, that's what you follow up with. If they very simply liked a particular post, then you just follow up and say, I noticed that you like this particular post. You can then collect the orders together and save on the shipping, and then get that out to the party host just as soon as it arrives. Or of course, should they wish to do so, they're very welcome to order through the websites, and with a sufficiently large order they wouldn't pay any shipping anyway if they ordered a collection or perhaps just a few bits of product themselves. But either which way, the result is there. Now, of course, it's really fantastic to get the result on the nights, and everyone wants a reward for their efforts. Everyone's used to turning up to, work for a few hours and getting a few hours' wage. It's only natural to do that. And of course, we want that to happen just as many times or just as often as we possibly can. But should it not happen, that actually is not the end of the world by any means, because as I've hopefully illustrated tonight, we're actually building a sustainable customer and prospect base. Because another type of post that you can include in your party, certainly as you're progressing on past that initial one, is about the opportunity, about how much you enjoy being part of Younique, how much you have benefited from it, not only the discounted product on tap, but also what you've done with your extra royalties, whether it's buy a computer, an extra holiday, paying off a credit card with the kids, perhaps even after a few months you've gone down to working part-time, whatever difference it is that it's made to you can discuss that, because all you're doing is sharing the truth of what it means to you, which of course will apply and appeal to other people. And why I've got them there as a captive audience, well, why not share that information too? Not only that, even beyond the party, once it's all closed down in terms of the Younique back office, the host rewards have been shared on the group, and the hostess is buzzing and looking forward to the next one perhaps, then you still have a captive audience of 40 or 400, however many people it might be, that perhaps you haven't accessed before. So why not them go through and add them to your friends and add them into your personal sales group, or even just share on the group once a month and say, hi ladies, anyone who's interested in topping up the products, or anyone who's interested in joining in, we have a great incentive at the moment, or there's this reward that's available, or this is what I'm aiming for, and isn't this exciting? There's so many different things you can pop in there, which is a captive and active group that you wouldn't have had ordinarily. So of course, yes, the immediate reward is great and is there a lot of the time by following these tips and others, I'm sure. But also there are ongoing benefits to consider as well. I've just checked my notes, and I think if you'd like to unmute yourself, Catherine, then that should do for now. So I really hope that it's been useful for you all. I can